I believe a lot even the things have to be fast. If you think too much, you go to strange labyrinth, you're not gonna get out.
What I'm doing now is almost like being a magician, like you have to make something sometimes out of nothing, and you sort of create this little world.
If I can get into the right situation, the pictures will come.
Anyone who is in Magnum has got a very distinctive voice. Individuality is so crucial not only to Magnum, but to the success of a project like this big one for the BCG.
What we hope people get out of it is, on the one hand, it's a moment of time captured, but then we really hope that what we can do is essentially to make a factory for amazement.
Photographers like BCG are trying to see beyond the obvious scene that they are watching and fixing on paper.
BCG at 50 is talking not just about the heritage and the history of the firm, but about where we're going, a spirit of moving forward, a spirit of having impact.
The world is going through an unseen amount of change as we speak. Probably one of the biggest change since the Industrial Revolution. And as it happens, it creates a lot of uncertainty and turbulences. It was very important for us to identify for our clients, but also for organizations at large, what are some of the key success factors in facing this changing world.
The game-changing theme for us was really a chance to capture a number of themes that we thought were going to be critical for companies and critical for society at large.
Using the 5 themes as the core anchor for some of the special programs and partnerships that we've developed.
Take some of the best photographers in the world and let them go explore and take those themes and figure out what it means to them, using the power of images to shape how we think about the world, to frame the opportunities ahead.
I've been taking pictures since I'm a child, since I'm a kid. I was always the one with the camera, and then I studied anthropology for a bit. With people, you get a lot of unpredictable stuff that's kind of magical. I think photography is most powerful as a photographer when I get myself to see things in a way that I normally wouldn't, or it makes somebody ask questions or think about what's around that photograph.
My photography is about the immediate capturing, the moment.
If you want, can turn visible. If you can go a little bit back.
You look at one of my pictures, you don't know really not where you are, but where you're gonna be next. Basically, you're on a cliff, and then you can jump, or you feel really secure. The brief, which is this idea of middle class, richer and wealthy, this concept about energy, is a concept about communication, telecommunication. Basically, I'm walking the street, I have these keywords in my mind, basically. When I see something that can connect, I try to put it visually and translate visually.
I'm looking for kind of intimacy or a space that, describes somebody's life by sort of, going to their house. Not just photographing in the street and seeing what I see. Maybe it's this one. Yes. There's nothing that defines it exactly, something that has a feeling, I suppose. A person, the way they're looking, like an interaction, something that's going on, the light. You're trying to put yourself into as many different situations as possible that could open up sort of magical moments.
Естественно, мой стиль фотографии – это свет, потому что я люблю странули, события через мое восприятие и свет, который там падает.
I always think of myself as a really simple photographer. There's no hocus pocus about what I do. It's a very intuitive approach. So I go out and I try to sort of discover things for myself, going by some combination of gut instinct and experience. I'm always drawn to stories about communities. That's what I do. Try to find a place where you have these multi-layers of modernity versus tradition maybe, or new ways of thinking. And there's very little, and there's no direction, there's no fancy lighting, there's no nothing. It's simple.
I was invited to be the curator, and this means I decided which photographer to go to which place, and then try and make a selection which fits into the brief and also overlaps with the interests that they have and their ability to connect with the city or the place that they've been sent to. As a photographer myself, I'm constantly having to go to a place and try and work out how to come up with a set of pictures that tell us something about that city or that country. You have to be efficient, you have to be fast, you have to know what you're saying, and you have to try and make entertaining, engaging photographs. I mean, to become a Magnum photographer, you have to have a definite personal vision and a very distinctive voice, and that means that they have a particular way of looking and a sort of palette and a look to their photographs, which is very distinctive. But you put them all together into one project, and you get a very strong set of photographs.
With this project, I've just been learning all kinds of things that are going on behind closed doors. If you tell me make a general photograph of the future of technology, I can't do that. So that's why I ended up in those little spaces, and maybe through the accumulation of all those little stories, you can get a better picture. Can you put your head back a little? Know that if I'm surprised about what I was shooting, then I got somewhere.
Для меня, по большому счету, сюрприз, когда я побеждаю предрассудок какой-то. Я оказался неправ. Для меня это победа. Победа над собой – это важнее, чем победа над чем-то.
What we've been trying to do is identify either places or situations, events, companies, individuals that somehow symbolize new ways of doing things, or new ways of thinking, or new technology, or some sort of evolution of ideas.
You know, many photographers want to be on the right place at the right time. I really try always to be in the wrong place about the right time. And then you start to walk around, and then you meet someone, and then they tell you something, and then you change your mind completely. You just dive, and then sometimes it comes out something that useless, or sometimes it's really precious.
Part of the magic of photography is its ambiguity. When you take stills, you have this kind of slice of time. So you've got this question of what went before and what went after and what's outside the frame in the rest of the scene. In Mumbai, there's one picture I took in a nightclub. Everybody was dancing, and they had strobe lights, and the strobe sort of came on at a particular time, and there's this girl kind of air kissing, and it's sort of like one of those things where everything came together, and I was like, okay, I'm sure this is going to be, you know, something that they'll choose.
The two main salient points in San Francisco in regards to game changing is the technological part, of course, and then the care of the environment. And I kind of like how those two things that seem so opposite here are so pronounced. You know, people having bees in their backyards and vegetables in their backyards, urban farms. And then on the other side, the intangible, you know, Facebook, Google. And all that side is also changing the world.
So when I did the final edit with Magnum, we edited the whole lot in one go. And this is very useful because we were thinking all the time about the overall impression. You then pick out the, say, killer photographs. There's just some photographs that really work. They just sing off the page. And then you're looking for the other photographs that fit into the jigsaw, the narrative and the information that they contain. And it's by combining those two factors, you try and get an effective working set of photographs.
Photographs that have come about are just wonderful examples of how you take really creative, great people and you give them room, and they take ideas and they make them come to life in ways that are different than what you could have anticipated at the start.
It's been an amazing experience to see the full journey, to look at the start of the concept creation and to look at the final results, and to have been actively involved in every step in between.
It was really an active ping pong of ideas, which is much more challenging and much more engaging. It was a true collaboration.
The exhibition is truly unique because of the way it's designed, because of the mix of photography and other forms of interpretation of data and information.
Ideally, the exhibition lives on as this kind of time capsule, so it shows now, or at least one honest attempt at capturing now.
I'm very proud of the fact that we are trying to break new grounds, both in the design of the exhibit, but also in terms of the messages we are trying to pass on to the world.
Game changing isn't about BCG changing the game, it's about how do we help our clients change the game. What are the themes in today's world that our clients will need to take on if they're going to win and build advantage in the future?